Discover the incredible moment a CEO's promise transformed a girl's life forever with her touching determination. Mia Roberts stood in front of the bustling crowd at the annual community fair, her heart pounding like a drummer at the center of a rock concert. She glanced at the colorful booths around her, the smell of popcorn wafting through the air, but her eyes focused on one person: Tom Harrison, the town's celebrated CEO. This was the man who had revitalized businesses and brought hope to families like hers. Mia inhaled deeply. This was it. After her parents left, Mia had put all her heart and soul into caring for her ailing grandmother, who had taught her everything about love and resilience. Now, as she stood there, the weight of a struggling household rested on her tiny shoulders. But her dream of becoming a veterinarian flickered like a candle in the wind, stronger than any storm. "I can do this," she whispered to herself. Finally, she approached Tom, feeling the rush of determination swell inside her. "Mr. Harrison," she said, her voice steady despite the fear rattling in her chest, "I want to be a veterinarian. I work hard in school, but it's tough. I don't have much." She gazed into his eyes, revealing her passion and fear in equal measure. Tom listened intently, nodding with kindness. His smile made her feel like she was standing under the summer sun. "Mia, if you keep your grades up and believe in yourself, I promise to support your education all the way through veterinary school." Hope surged through her, radiating warmth and light in a life otherwise filled with shadows. Every day after that, Mia held on to his promise. She studied fervently, driven by the fire of possibility. But soon, the delightful glow of hope dimmed. Whispers filled the halls at school, echoing with insecurities. Jealous eyes looked down on her, as if her humble background somehow diminished her worth. The barbs of judgment pricked at her confidence, each painful word making her small inside, and just when Mia started to push through the negativity, her world upended. "Mia, it's serious," the doctor said, the words ringing painfully in her ears. Her grandmother's accident landed her in the hospital, her breathing fragile, her future uncertain. Panic tightened Mia's chest as tears streamed down her cheeks. She wanted to scream and cry, but her grandmother's voice echoed in her heart, reminding her to be strong. What would she do without her? The thought alone could crush her spirit. But in the darkest moments, Mia remembered her grandmother's lessons about loyalty and hard work. Even in despair, she found resolve. She fought to keep hope alive like a tiny seed breaking through the soil, yearning for sunlight and nourishment. Yet as Mia grappled with her challenges alone, something extraordinary was brewing. Tom Harrison, ever observant, began to notice Mia's struggles. His heart filled with admiration as he learned the depths of her dedication. This wasn't just a chance to support a single girl, it was an opportunity to create change. With a flicker of determination in his own heart, Tom rallied the community, igniting a spirit of kindness and unity, transforming Mia's dream into a collective mission. But as discussions began about helping Mia, the air buzzed thick with conflicting views about class and opportunity. Could love truly bridge these divides and lift her up? Mia couldn't help but wonder, could one promise spark a movement and change everything for her and the people around her? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the community rallied, hope began to weave a tapestry of promise. But Mia was left grappling with a relentless question: could this unity really uplift her above the whispers and shadows that had haunted her? Would her longings and dreams stretch past the confines of her reality? The weight of unanswered questions lingered heavy, as she fought to find her place in a world that seemed determined to hold her back. Mia woke up the next morning to a sense of urgency buzzing through her veins. The hospital was a heavy weight on her mind, each tick of the clock reminding her that time was a precious commodity when it came to her grandmother's health. She could almost hear the soft beeping of the monitors in her sleep. Today, she promised herself she would visit her grandmother and bring her some comfort. As she got ready, Mia slipped a photo of her grandmother into her pocket. It was a snapshot from last summer, them together in a bright garden, the petals vibrant against the green grass. The picture reminded her of the laughter they shared, the stories her grandmother told, and the dreams she ignited in Mia's heart. "I'll make you proud," she murmured, knotting the energy inside her like a lasso around her hopes. At school, Mia felt the whispers slicing through the air again. Jeering remarks about her grandmother's accident followed her like a shadow. But today, she was focused. She cradled Tom's promise in her heart, trying to let it shield her from the barbs. During lunch, a group of students stood in a huddle, their laughter sharp and pointed. Mia tried to ignore it, concentrating instead on her textbook, when a voice broke through. "What does it matter to her, right? She'll just fail anyway." The comment pierced her like an arrow, but Mia clenched her fists beneath the table, drawing strength from within. She remembered Tom's words, how he believed in her. If he could see something special in her, maybe she could see it too. After school, she sprinted to the hospital, a whirlwind of determination propelling her forward. The antiseptic smell wrapped around her like a chill as she entered the dimly lit room where her grandmother lay. She stepped quietly, volume turned down, as if making herself smaller in the space. "Mia." Her grandmother whispered, her voice fragile but warm. The corners of Mia's mouth lifted, the fear-locked chamber in her heart bursting open. "There's my brave girl," her grandmother smiled, eyes sparkling with the familiar affection that held Mia steady. "How's school?" "Better. I promise to make you proud," Mia said softly, sitting beside her and holding her hand tightly. "Tom Harrison is going to help me." At the mention of Tom's name, her grandmother's eyes widened. "He's been quite the ripple in our town, hasn't he? Always bringing people together." Mia nodded, excitement bubbling within her. "He promised to support my vet school. The community wants to help too." "Then they see the light in you," her grandmother replied, squeezing Mia's hand, sending warmth flowing between them. But suddenly, the room fell silent, and for a heartbeat, Mia feared the shadows creeping in. "You have to keep going, sweetheart. No matter what comes your way, don't let doubt extinguish that spark." Mia fought back tears, not willing to show fear. "I won't. I promise." As she left the hospital, a sense of empowerment surged through her, but the lingering whispers from school hung around her like an unwanted cloak. Would the community truly unite behind her dreams? Or would the shadow of doubt and class divide suffocate their efforts? The next day, as discussions heated up in town about Tom's planning for a community fundraiser to support her education, Mia felt uncertain. What if it wasn't enough? What if they couldn't break the walls keeping her down? But then a resolute voice echoed in her heart. She'd never give up on herself or on the community who believed in her. Just then, she spotted Tom across the fairgrounds, speaking animatedly and gesturing as people gathered around him. She felt a flutter of hope. But would they all come together in support or be divided by the same insecurities that followed her? As the sun set, casting long shadows that stretched across the ground, Mia wondered if the promise Tom made could truly blossom into something real, something that could drown out the old doubts and reshape her destiny. And as she watched the community begin to organize, excitement mixed with apprehension in her heart, she couldn't shake the feeling that something big was on the horizon. What if this fundraiser was not just about her, but about profound change for everyone? Could this really be the spark that ignited something larger than herself? With questions lingering and hope shimmering around her, Mia stepped forward, ready to weave her fate into the story unfolding before her. The days rolled on, the anticipation building like a tempest overhead. Mia could feel the excitement ripple through the town as banners began to unfurl and the scent of fried dough and caramel corn filled the air. The community fundraiser was just around the corner, and with it, the promise of change, not just for her but for everyone who dared to dream. Everywhere she turned, there was chatter of people pulling together, folks sharing stories of their own struggles and aspirations. Mia stood at the edge of the fairgrounds, absorbing it all and feeling a warmth blooming in her chest. It was like watching a garden awaken in spring, filled with renewed life and vigor. She longed to be swept up in the wave of joy, but fear crouched in the shadows, whispering doubts about whether this was really her moment or merely a bright flicker that would extinguish too soon. "What are you thinking about?" Tom's voice broke through her thoughts, and she turned to see him standing beside her, a reassuring grin on his face. The way he looked at her felt like the dawn breaking, igniting a spark of courage within her. "You look lost." "I'm just hoping that everyone really is willing to come together," she confessed, her voice a whisper lost in the soft chatter of the crowd. "What if it doesn't turn out like we imagine?" Tom stepped closer, the warmth of his presence blocking off her worries. He took her hand, and Mia could feel the strength in his grip, grounding her. "Look, you have to remember, Mia, this isn't just about you. It's about all of us. Everyone knows how much your grandmother means to this community, and they want to fight for you." His words seemed to awaken a stagnant breath within her. "Do you really think they care that much?" "Mia, I've seen it firsthand. Look." He gestured across the fairgrounds where a group of local artists had set up booths, donating their work for a silent auction. Nearby, kids were painting signs to support her, giggling and arguing about how to spell her name. "This isn't just your fight, it's a shared dream. They all want to rally around something good, something hopeful." Mia's heart raced at the thought of being part of something bigger. But as she watched, a doubt pierced through the warm glow. What if they have their own problems? What if we fail? What if Mia? Tom interrupted, kneeling down to meet her eyes, serious and steady. "You're not alone. No one is. That's the beauty of community. We mess up, we fall apart, and then we come back together. You can't let the fear of failing stop you from trying to do something great." Her chest tightened, his words settling deep within her like seeds in fertile soil. Hope soared as her breath hitched. "You really believe that?" "I do. Look at how far you've come already. You hold more power than you realize. You've got people behind you, ready to lift you up." Mia looked around at the scene unfolding. The distant sounds of laughter and chatter filled her with warmth, a promise of connection and support. She could almost hear her grandmother's laughter joining them, urging her forward, but before she could reply, a loud cheer erupted from the crowd near the makeshift stage. Mia's gaze snapped in their direction as Tom led her toward the commotion. A local businessman had taken the stage, microphone in hand, calling everyone's attention. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice booming with enthusiasm. "Tonight is about more than just raising funds. It's about showing that we are stronger together. Let us support Mia's dream and honor the legacy of her grandmother, who has been a heart in our community for so long." The crowd grew electric, and Mia felt hot tears prickling at her eyes. This was real. This was tangible, but then, as the applause rang out like an echoing bell, her heart raced with a mix of excitement and anxiety. Could she really believe in this moment? What if doubts crept back in once the night ended? As she scanned the faces in the crowd, she wondered if this was the turning point she had always yearned for, or merely a stepping stone. Could she and Tom truly ignite change that would ripple beyond this place, beyond her own fears? With her heart pounding, she took a deep breath, letting the energy of the moment wash over her. Tomorrow might hold uncertainties, but tonight? Tonight was a celebration. What would tomorrow bring, then? And would Mia find the strength to sustain the light this night had ignited in her? She just had to hold on, because sometimes, hope is the only thing that can lead you forward. As the last stirrings of excitement echoed through the evening air, Mia felt a gentle tug at her sleeve. She turned to see an elderly woman, her face crinkled with wisdom and kindness. It was Mrs. Thompson, a woman known for her stories about the town's history. "Mia, dear, I just wanted to say," she began, her voice soft but filled with a firmness that demanded attention, "you've already done something amazing tonight. This isn't just about your grandmother, it's about her legacy, and you're carrying it forward beautifully." Mia blinked away tears, touched by the older woman's words. It was moments like these simple, powerful that made her heart swell with hope. "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. I really hope we can honor her the way she deserves," Mia replied, her voice trembling slightly. "You already are," Mrs. Thompson replied, her eyes glistening with affection. "Just by being here and bringing everyone together." Mia smiled at the warmth that spread through her. It felt like a blanket shielding her from the cold whispers of doubt. Across the fairgrounds, the lights twinkled like stars as laughter bubbled over the crowd. Tom was chatting animatedly with some of the local artists, and Mia could feel the energy in the air. It was electric, a living pulse that seemed to beat in time with her own heart. As the night wore on, Mia noticed an older man near the stage, quietly observing. He looked familiar, and yet she couldn't place him. When their eyes met, he offered a nod and an encouraging smile, one that made her feel seen in a way that was both comforting and daunting. What's his story? Mia wondered aloud, stealing a glance at Tom, who now stood a few feet away. "Ah, that's Mr. Caldwell," Tom responded, his voice low to avoid interrupting the moment. "He's a retired CEO. He helped fund a lot of community projects before stepping down. People say he's a bit gruff, but he cares deeply." Mia's curiosity piqued. She had heard whispers about Mr. Caldwell and his wealth, but not much about his character. Could he be the missing piece she needed for her plan? What if I could convince him to help? She thought, her heart racing at the idea. But doubt crept in again. What if he didn't believe in her cause? What if he didn't care about her grandmother? Tom must have sensed her hesitation. "You've got to go talk to him. Just be yourself. Remember, it's not just about asking for help, it's about sharing your vision and passion." Taking a deep breath, Mia braced herself. She made her way toward Mr. Caldwell, her heart pounding louder with every step. The crowd faded away, and it was just her and him in that moment. "Excuse me, Mr. Caldwell," she began, her voice steadier than she felt. "I'm Mia. I just wanted to share what we're hoping to do here tonight for my grandmother and our community." He turned to her, his brow furrowing slightly as he listened. There was something in his gaze that held depth and curiosity. "You know," he said after a moment, leaning in slightly, "community spirit matters. Tell me your vision, Mia." Mia poured everything into her words, the dreams, the memories, the hope for change. As she spoke, she noticed the flicker of interest in his eyes grow stronger. "Change starts with courage, young lady," he replied, his voice softening, a new warmth emerging. "And you seem to have plenty of it. Let's discuss how we can make this work." Elated, Mia looked around, and every face in the crowd seemed to glow with support. It felt as if they were all linked together in that moment, ready to leap into the future she imagined. But just as the excitement began to swell, she noticed Tom watching from a distance, his expression unreadable. Was he feeling proud, or did he harbor doubts? The thought sent a shiver down her spine. Could she share this moment with him fully? Or had she just opened a door that would take her down a different path, one that might lead to uncertainty? Mia took a deep breath, knowing one thing: this was just the beginning of a far more even challenging journey ahead. Would it all come crashing down, or could they build something truly remarkable together? The night held its breath, and so did she, left wondering what tomorrow would reveal. Would she be brave enough to let hope guide her in the days to come? Mia stood there, her mind racing. Mr. Caldwell's words wrapped around her like a lifeline. The energy swirling around the fairgrounds, echoing with music and laughter, faded into a distant murmur as she focused on the man before her. "Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. It truly means the world to have your support," she said, her voice steadying as determination filled her heart. Here was a chance, a real chance to make a difference, not only for her grandmother but for everyone who had ever rallied for something greater in their small town. As they began discussing her vision in more detail, each idea she expressed seemed to spark something in him. Mia illustrated plans for community gardens, art programs, and a memorial for her grandmother that celebrated all she loved about their town. Mr. Caldwell nodded thoughtfully, his expression shifting from skeptical to genuinely engaged. Your grandmother must have been a powerful woman, he noticed, leaning closer. She was, Mia replied, a smile breaking across her face. She believed in community, in bringing people together. At that moment, Tom approached, his earlier distance dissipating. Mia, he said, a grin illuminating his features, you nailed it. I saw how engaged he was. Mia's chest swelled at Tom's praise. Really? Do you think he'll help? Absolutely. I can see it in his eyes, Tom replied, glancing at Mr. Caldwell. Just be honest with him. He respects that. The warmth of Tom's words spread through her like sunshine. She turned back to Mr. Caldwell and, in a burst of unfiltered emotion, admitted, I just want to honor her memory. I don't want to let her down. The retired CEO paused, his demeanor shifting. You know, Mia, I've seen a lot in my years. When I first started in business, I didn't care about anything but profit. But what changed me was seeing real impact, like when a community thrives. That is something money can't buy. Mia's heart fluttered at his revelation. Maybe he wasn't just a gruff old man after all. Maybe he truly understood. What if we could make a centerpiece for the town? Something that ties all our visions together: artwork, gardens, a place to gather. A tribute to those who built this community, she proposed, the words tumbling out, her passion igniting. Now that's an idea, Mr. Caldwell replied, a spark of excitement lighting his eyes. I can help you with funding and connections. It's time to take this town into a new era. But just as hope surged within her, Mia caught Tom's eye again. His smile had dimmed into something she couldn't quite read. Was he worried this would change their plans? That she would be swept away by this newfound alliance? The air between them suddenly felt heavy. She could sense a shift, a chasm forming where camaraderie had flourished just moments before. She stepped back slightly, keeping Mr. Caldwell's gaze but aware of Tom's disappointment. Let us meet tomorrow to discuss this further, Mr. Caldwell said, breaking the silence. Bring any ideas you have. I want to give this the attention it deserves. Thank you, I will. She said, both ecstatic and uncertain. As the conversation wound down, Mia felt gratitude wash over her for Mr. Caldwell's belief in her vision. But the undercurrents between her and Tom seemed more pronounced, and she found herself avoiding his gaze. Walking away from the stage, her heart was a whirlwind of excitement for the future and concern for her closest friend. Could she juggle this newfound opportunity alongside the bonds she held dear? The stars glittered overhead as Mia breathed in the night air, lingering on the edge of a new chapter. Could she forge ahead without losing the people she cherished? As she made her way back through the crowd, she thought of her grandmother, her spirit guiding her, urging her on. But just then, a thought crossed her mind that sent a chill through her. Would all this promise lead her to a brighter future, or would it risk everything she had worked so hard to maintain? The night sparkled all around, teetering on the brink of something. What would tomorrow demand of her? The sun crested over the horizon, casting a warm golden hue on the fairgrounds as Mia stood at her kitchen counter, absent-mindedly stirring a pot of oatmeal. The sweet aroma filled the small space, but her mind was a million miles away, caught in a spiral of possibilities for the upcoming meeting with Mr. Caldwell. It wasn't just another pitch, this was her future, her grandmother's legacy, and the hope of turning dreams into something tangible. Hey, Mia. Don't forget we've got that meeting later. Tom called out from the living room, breaking her reverie. Right. I'm on it. She replied, forcing a smile as she glanced at him. Yet Tom's enthusiasm didn't reach his eyes, and her heart sank at the thought that their budding friendship might be strained by her ambitions. How could something so exciting feel so heavy? She finished preparing breakfast and sat across from Tom, who was scrolling through his phone, seemingly disengaged. So, what do you think about the plan? Are you excited? She ventured, trying to bridge the widening gap. Tom shrugged, not meeting her gaze. I guess. It sounds big. But just don't forget what we talked about: the community, the togetherness. Mia's heart raced at the hint of caution in his voice. Of course. This is for everyone, Tom. For our town. Her voice was firm, but the uncertainty lurked beneath. Would he see it that way? Could they still work together? Later that morning, as she prepared for the meeting, Mia's thoughts scurried like ants. She laid out her notes, sketches, and ideas, but more importantly, she rehearsed how to convince Mr. Caldwell without losing the essence of their original plan that she had proposed with Tom. She would have to tread carefully, balancing ambition with friendship. When the clock ticked 3, she arrived at the community center, her heart pounding. The sun streamed through the large windows, illuminating Mr. Caldwell seated at a round table, his calm demeanor dissipating some of her anxiety. Mia. Good to see you again, he greeted, the warmth in his voice beckoning her to the seat opposite him. Thank you for meeting with me, she began, her nerves settling into a steady resolve. As she laid out her ideas, she could see Mr. Caldwell leaning forward, a smile creeping into his eyes with each passing moment. They shared laughter, and for a brief moment, it felt like dreams were unfolding before her, but just as Mia shared her plans for the centerpiece, a vibrant garden filled with art to honor her grandmother, she noticed Tom lingering at the door. His expression was unreadable, and the tension shifted as he stepped inside. Hey, sorry I'm late. I couldn't find parking, he said, trying to mask the strain evident in his tone. Mia's vision is truly something special, Mr. Caldwell said, a proud smile on his face. We were just discussing how community gardens could transform our town. Tom's gaze flickered to Mia, a mix of pride and concern swirling in his eyes. That's a great idea, he agreed, but there was a hesitance in his voice. The air crackled with unspoken words. Would their unity falter with her success? Mia caught the internal struggle on Tom's face. She felt an urgent desire to reassure him. Tom, remember, this is about all of us. We can do this together, she said, hoping to dissolve the tension. Mr. Caldwell looked back and forth between them, sensing the undercurrents. Collaboration is key, he stated, wise eyes reflecting his experiences. Remember, this is not just about one voice, it's about the harmony of many. Mia nodded, her heart hopeful yet heavy. She wanted to rise above, to bring everyone along with her, yet the weight of expectations loomed. What if they didn't see eye to eye on their shared dream? As the meeting came to a close, and Mr. Caldwell expressed his eagerness to get started, Mia's mind buzzed with exhilaration but also confusion. How could she maintain her friendship with Tom while chasing this golden opportunity? Exiting the community center, the air felt electric. The possibilities were endless, but the path ahead was foggy. Would she compromise? What made their bond so special? She took a deep breath and faced the sunset, its vibrant colors mirroring the whirlpool of emotions inside her. What were the sacrifices she was willing to make for a brighter future? And would they deepen or fracture the connections she held so dear? With those thoughts hanging in the air, she stepped forward into the unknown. What new challenges awaited her on this journey? The next morning came too quickly, filling Mia with a restless energy. She could hardly bear to stay in bed. The sunrise offered no solace, only a reminder of the weight pressing down on her heart. Tom's concerns echoed in her mind. Would pursuing her dream mean sacrificing their friendship? As she poured herself a cup of coffee, the sound of a gentle knock startled her. Mia. It's me, Tom's voice called softly. She opened the door, finding him standing there with an awkward half-smile. Hey, she said, trying to lighten the mood. What's up? He stepped inside, hands shoved deep into his pockets. Just wanted to talk about yesterday. About the meeting. Mia nodded, sensing the tension in the air. Yeah, it went well. Mr. Caldwell seems really interested in the garden idea. Tom shifted his weight, uncertainty etched on his face. That's great, but it felt like you were alone up there. Like, all your ideas were so big and I don't know if I'm ready for that. I thought we were in this together. She sighed, rubbing her forehead. I know. And I want you with me. I don't want this to change anything between us. Then why didn't you say more about the community aspect? The stuff we talked about? His frustration broke through. I want everyone to feel involved, but it's like you're taking the lead, and I'm just a support. Mia bit her lip, feeling tears sting her eyes. I didn't want to overshadow your input. It's all moving so fast. I thought if I could just show the bigger picture, it might help us get the funding we need. Tom's expression softened. I get that. But that big picture can't be just all about you. That's not what we talked about. We need to highlight what connects us to this community. She took a step closer, desperation flaring. I need you to believe in this too, Tom. I can't do it without you. This is for us. For everyone. The tension in the room melted just a bit, but uncertainty hung in the air. Then let us rethink how we approach this. He finally said, his voice gentler. Together. Relief washed over her. Together, she echoed, feeling a flicker of hope. They spent the morning revising presentations, combining their visions with finesse. As playful banter mixed with serious discussions, the bond between them felt stronger, roots tangling deeper. But as they worked, Mia's phone buzzed incessantly. Mr. Caldwell was sending her reminders about the upcoming community meeting scheduled for the following week. The urgency of his messages left her heart pounding with fear and excitement. Hey, Tom, she said, looking up from her screen. I just got a text from Mr. Caldwell. He invited us to present the garden project to the town board next week. It's happening fast. Tom's eyes widened, but uncertainty clouded his face once again. That means we're on a clock, Mia. We can't let this become just your project. It has to be ours. Mia nodded, resolve settling in. Right. We need to get the community behind us, share the story, not just the proposal. Show them why this matters. They spent hours plotting ways to create excitement, ideas flooded out like rushes of water. Mia felt alive as they envisioned flyers, social media posts, even yard signs. But the more they hashed out possibilities, the more Mia could sense the stakes rising. Later that evening, as the stars blinked into existence outside her window, Mia glanced at Tom, who was scribbling notes with a fierce spark in his eyes. Tom, she said, searching for the right words. What if we involve the kids? Get a local school art class to help create the garden design. That way, they'll feel part of it. His face lit up, and he wrote down her suggestion. That's brilliant. It gives them ownership. They'll want to see it succeed. As the night wore on, laughter mixed with earnest conversation filled the air. Yet beneath it all, an undercurrent of anxiety simmered within Mia. The community meeting loomed ahead like a vast ocean, and she could feel the waves crashing. Would they welcome her ideas? Would they trust her vision? As her thoughts spiraled, a question nagged at her mind: what if they didn't? When Tom finally left, Mia stood by the window, gazing into the darkness. The stars twinkled overhead, yet all she felt was unease. Mia. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind, reminding her of the moments that once felt steady and sure. Had she possibly stepped away from those roots while trying to climb higher? As her heart raced in the quiet night, she realized she needed more than just ambition, she needed to connect. But would it be enough to forge a path toward the future she craved? With those thoughts swirling, she felt herself teetering on the edge of something bigger, but the resolution felt just out of reach. What would it take to turn hopes into a shared reality? And when doubts surrounded her, could she truly pull everyone together? The afternoon sun warmed Mia's back as she and Tom set up folding chairs in the community center. The room buzzed with chatter, folks drifting in from all corners of town. A few families, retirees, and the usual Tuesday crowd trickled through the door, but Mia felt an anxious knot in her stomach. Today was the day they would present their garden project to the community. Do you think anyone will show? Tom asked, arranging the last chair. Of course they will. Mia replied, trying to mask her own uncertainty. They need to see what this is all about. This is for them. As the minutes passed, more faces filled the seats, some familiar, others not. She saw Mrs. Henderson, the local baker, and the Johnsons, who had a knack for turning backyard flowers into masterpieces every summer. Each person represented a thread in the tapestry of the town, and they would be crucial to the garden's success. Tom caught her gaze and gave her a reassuring nod. You ready? Mia took a deep breath, her heart pounding harder with each passing second. I think so. Just remember together. The clock ticked closer to the start time, and as Mr. Caldwell introduced them, Mia felt a mix of excitement and terror. Today, Mia and Tom will share something special, a community garden aimed to unite our neighborhoods and create a space where memories can grow. She stepped forward, a buzz of adrenaline coursing through her. The slides behind her flashed vibrant images of their ideas, showing children painting stones, families planting vegetables, and friends gathering for events. We've envisioned a space that reflects who we are, something that connects us all. A few murmurs of interest floated through the crowd. Encouraged, Mia continued. This garden is not just for one person's vision, it's for everyone. It's about collaboration and creativity. We want to involve local schools, youth groups, and anyone willing to lend a hand. Together, we can grow a vibrant community, one plant at a time. As she spoke, she caught a flicker of doubt from a familiar face, Mr. Thompson, the town's historic preservationist. He raised his hand, and the room quieted. It sounds nice, Mia, but isn't there a risk? What if it doesn't go as planned? What if it becomes just another forgotten project? The question hung heavy in the air, and a moment of silence followed. Mia's heart raced. Would he lead the wave of skepticism? She took a moment to collect herself, leaning into Tom's encouraging presence beside her. Mr. Thompson, I understand your concerns. But that's why we want input from everyone. We're not just asking for funding, we're asking for commitment. This garden can't just exist, it has to thrive through our shared responsibility. As the discussion continued, more voices chimed in with their thoughts, some skeptical, some excited. Tom chimed in too, amplifying their vision for the neighborhood's involvement. As the back and forth ensued, Mia felt threads weaving tighter, an unexpected sense of community began to draft itself around them. They wrapped up the meeting, hopeful energy swirling around the once doubtful crowd. They exchanged contact information, and Mia felt a new wave of determination flow through her. They weren't just launching a project, they were igniting a movement. Afterward, as people hung around to chat, a small girl tugged at Mia's jacket. Are you really going to let us help? I want to paint rocks. Mia kneeled down, her heart swelling. Absolutely. This garden will be ours together. As she smiled at the girl, a warm realization washed over her. This was what she had been hoping to achieve. It wasn't just about growing plants, it was about nurturing relationships, fostering a sense of belonging. But as the crowd began to disperse, Mia caught sight of Mr. Thompson again in the corner. He was deep in conversation with another resident, his expression was still marked by doubt. Could she truly bridge that gap? Could she turn his skepticism into support? With questions still swirling in her mind, she felt that familiar knot of anxiety tighten. What would it take to break through those barriers? Would her vision be enough to reconcile the community's fears with their hopes? The next morning was bright but cool, a crisp air that hinted at the changing seasons. Mia stood by the window, a cup of coffee warming her hands. The lively chatter of yesterday still danced in her head. The conversation had shifted something within the community, but there was still lingering doubt. Mr. Thompson's expression haunted her. Maybe I should just go talk to him, she whispered into the silence of her kitchen. Tom strolled in, a sleepy grin on his face. What's got you up so early? Mia sighed, letting the steam rise from her mug. I can't shake what Mr. Thompson said. I want him on our side, but he is stuck in his ways. Tom finished her thought. He leaned against the counter. I get it. He has a point, though. We need to prove that this garden won't just fade away. Mia bit her lip, her mind racing. What if we invite him to the garden site? Maybe seeing it will help him understand the impact. Tom nodded, excitement sparking in his eyes. That's a great idea. Let's set up a little workday, get some hands-on involvement going. It'll show him we mean business. After a few brainstorming sessions, they sketched out plans for a community workday. They posted flyers and spread the word on social media. Mia's heart raced at the thought of potential. On the day of the workday, the early sun painted everything in shades of gold and green. People trickled in, some familiar faces from yesterday's meeting, others new and curious. It was exhilarating to see the community mobilized. But there was still one absence that loomed large: Mr. Thompson. Mia's spirits dipped when she spotted the lawn chair Mr. Thompson usually claimed for himself, untouched. She felt a wave of doubt crash over her. What if he never came? Would all their efforts be in vain without his support? Hey, Mia. An eager voice broke through her worries. It was the little girl from the meeting, holding a paintbrush and bouncing on her toes. Is it time to paint? Mia smiled and knelt down, her heart swelling again. Yes. We have rocks waiting for you. Do you want to help pick out the colors? As she guided the little girl to the table, Mia took a shaky breath, her gaze drifting around the bustling garden. Laughter and chatter filled the air. For a moment, she let herself feel the joy bubbling from the roots of their rising community. Suddenly, she caught sight of a familiar figure. Mr. Thompson stood at the edge of the gathering, watching. His arms crossed, his expression still skeptical, but he was here. Mia's heart raced. This was her chance to bridge that gap. Tom. She called, excitement coursing through her as she gestured toward Mr. Thompson. Let's invite him over. Tom, catching the spark of her enthusiasm, nodded, and together they approached the older man. Mr. Thompson, Mia began, her voice steady despite the rush of nerves. I'm glad you came. We'd love for you to join us today. We want to show you the ideas we have and how this garden will grow. Mr. Thompson regarded them both, the weight of his skepticism hanging in the air. You really think this will make a difference? He asked, a hint of curiosity flickering behind his eyes. Yes. Just look around. Mia gestured to the families laughing, planting seeds, and the little girl painting rocks with gusto. It's already starting to happen. We need wise voices like yours to help us guide this project. Will you join us? The question hung in the air, heavy with possibility. Maybe, he said slowly, still evaluating. With hope fluttering in her chest, Mia realized this could be the turning point. Would Mr. Thompson see the potential blooming before his eyes? And could this garden truly become the beacon of unity she envisioned? Mia's heart felt like it was trying to leap from her chest as Mr. Thompson paused, deliberating. Finally, he uncrossed his arms. All right, I'll participate, he said, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. Relief washed over Mia like a warm tide, flooding her with newfound energy. Thank you, she said, beaming as she stepped toward the painting station with him. The little girl looked up at Mr. Thompson with wide eyes, her paintbrush poised in the air. Are you going to help make it pretty? She asked, innocence sparkling in her voice. Mr. Thompson chuckled, the sound breaking the tension that had lingered. Absolutely, but only if you promise to show me how to do it. They exchanged a conspiratorial smile, and Mia felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this garden would really transform not just the land, but their connections too. As the sun climbed higher, the atmosphere grew electric. Community members mingled, exchanging stories and laughter over dirt and paint. Mia watched as kids from the local school, older folks from across the street, and young families blended together. It felt like magic, people coming together to create something beautiful, something that represented all their hopes and dreams. Hours passed in a blur of activity, and as the workday came to a close, Mia stood up, arms aching but heart full. She stepped back to admire the fruits of their labor. Colorful rocks decorated the ground, each telling stories of personal connections and shared aspirations. Mia looked around, noticing Mr. Thompson deep in conversation with other residents, his earlier skepticism seemingly washed away. Tom found her and grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. "What a day, huh? Look at them. They barely stopped to catch their breath." "Yes. It's incredible," Mia replied, her voice bubbling with excitement. "I think people really believe now." Tom narrowed his eyes teasingly. "And you were worried he wouldn't show. Looks like you did it, Mia." As the sun began to set, casting a golden light across the fairgrounds, Mia felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She gathered everyone around, her voice steady as she spoke from her heart. "Thank you all for coming together today. This garden is just the beginning. It will be a place for us to gather, to share love and laughter. Together, we'll grow something beautiful here." The crowd erupted into cheers, and she felt a surge of warmth wash over her. It was the spirit of the town, of hope and community, stretching like vines entwining around their hearts. After the cheers faded, Mia glanced at Mr. Thompson, who shot her an approving nod. "I might be doubted the vision at first, but I see now that you've got something special here, Mia." "I'm in, completely," he declared, much to everyone's delight. In that moment, Mia knew they had crossed a threshold together. A powerful shift had taken place. This was no longer just her dream, it was a community's dream, born out of love and perseverance. As laughter and warmth enveloped them, she couldn't help but look at Tom. He flashed a smile that made her heart race. They had bridged the gap, standing side by side, ready to face whatever lay ahead together. The festivities wound down, and the stars ignited the night sky, twinkling like promises unfulfilled yet waiting to be realized. Mia felt a weight lift from her shoulders as she wrapped her arms around Tom's, ready to face their future with determination and unity. "That was amazing. You were incredible," Tom said, admiration shining in his eyes. "We did this together," Mia replied, warmth radiating from her insides. "There's so much more to come." "Yes, there is. This isn't just a garden, Mia. It's a community, our community. Let us keep it growing." They both gazed at the twinkling lights of the fairgrounds, filled with hope for what they could accomplish together. Mia grinned, the shadows of doubt fading away. As they stood shoulder to shoulder, she knew they were ready to nurture the world around them, transforming challenges into opportunities, and dreams into shared reality. This was just the beginning. Before long, the excitement washed away into the night, their laughter mingling with the stars. Mia took a deep breath, her heart full. A journey awaited them, ignited by collaboration and community spirit. Tomorrow would bring its own challenges, but together, they were more than ready. It was their time to flourish. Now here's where you come in. You need to subscribe now to the channel to stay updated on our next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to fuel our algorithm so we can keep creating inspiring content. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share your thoughts with us, and don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Each action counts. My amazing community.